What's up, YouTube Gen X? Okay. I just got home. Very long day. I don't know. I love 3-day weekends, but it kind of throws me off. So I didn't really have a good day, energy-wise, and the kids were extra rested. So I was like easily annoyed today, but it is what it is. I'll get through it. All right. So I got home, obviously checking the email, uh, and checking Gen X Facebook, or excuse me, YouTube, just to see my comments and any sort of messages. And I got a long PM. Okay, I got a long PM from a black woman who came from the inner city, came from poverty, made it to school, made it to college. Okay. And she talked about how her boyfriend is Filipino. And he also came from a low-income, poverty-stricken sort of environment where he was exposed to gangs and drugs and, all the other uh, potholes that fill lower income and inner city communities. Excuse me. But he made it out, and he also made it to college. And she came on and said, black men are not the only ones who have it bad. But why is it that other men can still find a way to succeed, right? Um, and I agree. She made a great point, right? But what she didn't factor in, once again, was the fact that you got chosen because you yourself didn't fall in the pit, the pit holes or the potholes, excuse me. You came from the same environment, but yet you don't have any kids. Yet you're not down and out. Yet you're not trying to live hood rich. You yourself aren't hood rich. See, if you were the quote unquote baby mama or whatnot, and that man still chose you, okay, then you would have a leg to stand on. But once again, you've proven our point that for the black women who want to date or marry out, you have to have your affairs together, right? You're not going to be the baby mama. You're not going to be the inarticulate hood sort of chick. You're not, right? So you are the exception to the rule, as are most of the black women that do date or marry out, right? It is what it is. You guys know you don't have some of the same stereotypes that afflict other black women. So I see where you're trying to go, but you forgot to factor in yourself. Like I said, if you were that quote unquote, I was done wrong by a black man and he left me with kids and he left me down and out, and here came this Filipino man who also came from the same sort of environment that the black man came from, and he saved me, right? Or he saw the value in me, then guess what? You have a legit story, okay? It is what it is. But once again, you've proven that you are the exception to the rule. So you really did make a point. But I got upset because you're playing a very dangerous game. And I don't play this game because I know it's unfair, right? When it comes to black people, black men and women, our condition is very unique. There's a lot of groups that are similar, don't get me wrong, but our condition is very unique. So I'm very careful in regards to how I handle it because I don't want to undervalue what goes on with black people so that I can make a point, right? But at the same time, I don't want to throw out the fact that there's other people who go through similar sort of issues and problems themselves. So it's a touchy situation. But black women aren't the only black women that come from lower income, poverty-stricken environments. Okay, I've seen non-black women. I'm not even talking about chicks that I've dated or slept with, so, throw that out the window. All right, I'm just talking about girls that I've met, whether it's in the classroom or whether at work. So we're not even talking about on a romantic level here, right? But I've met chicks, and literally, I thought that they were the middle class, Abercrombie and Fitch sort of female, wearing the flip-flops and the sandals, like, they're on the show, The Hills or whatnot. I've met chicks like that, right? I'm like, oh, look at this typical, um, uh, not knowing about the world sort of white girl, right? Only to later find out where they grew up and a lot of the shit that they faced in regards to dad not being there or dad being on crystal meth, mom sleeping with guy to guy so that they can pay, the bills, or the boyfriend trying to molest the girl at night. Like, you heard all sorts of shit. Having to go off and live with a friend or a relative. I've heard it all, right? I've heard it all. And I can't lie to you, I had to damn near almost apologize, right? Not that I said anything, but for the simple fact that in my head, I had those chicks written off as the typical privileged sort of white girl, only for them to come on and talk about their own experience, and it's like, fuck. I'm a black man, and your situation I really can't compare to. I never had to go through that. But yet you're still here, right? And it's crazy, and black women throw this out. Like I said, the other women that are in lower income poverty environments, but you never know it because they don't really identify with it, right? If they make it out, obviously if they get caught up, it's clear, you're going to see the baby, or you're going to see them with not, too many options, right? But the ones that do make it, you never really see anything, right? You never really know, right? And I'm like, wow, that's really telling. Um, but once again, I don't really like to bring that up because I know it's not the same across the board. But if black women want to play this game in regards to, well, other men don't come from privilege and wealth, yeah, you're right. I have some white buddies who grew up piss poor, poorer than I did, right? Some made it, some didn't make it, right? But if you want to play this game, then we're going to have to play the game, right? We're going to have to go hard. It's like Jumanji, right? You're not going to roll once and put the game away. If you want to play the game, we have to play the complete game and win. And I'm not sure if you guys are ready to go down that road, because we can sit up here and pull out the examples, right? I can tell you about the poor Indian girl, right? Every Indian or, Middle Eastern isn't wealthy, right? I have a couple of them in my class. I can tell you about the Persian girl who really doesn't have money, right? And the dad's a gambler, and the dad's a womanizer. I can tell you about the Asian girl or the Korean girl who doesn't have money, right? And we can keep going, and we can talk about how somehow they overcame their situation. Okay, they somehow were able to make something out of themselves. No kids, no sort of fuck, my own men sort of mentality. They were able to do it. Well, how come black women can't? And I don't do it like I said because I know you guys will come on and say that it's not the same. And quite frankly, it's not. So I'm not saying that black women are doing this, and I'm more so addressing the woman who sent me this PM. If y'all want to play this game, we can play it. I understand that black men aren't the only men in poverty, but there's a big difference. Money isn't made off of exploiting, right, the inner city poverty-stricken black man. There's no focus on you. It's not cool, right? There's no validation in saying that I'm Asian, but I grew up poor, right? No one, they're going to look down on you, right? But let a black man say that I'm from the inner city or whatnot, and all of a sudden he's validated, right? Going back to one of the more, I would say, accurate perceptions of Fresh Prince, where you had Will and Carlton. Remember how they treated Will, right? Because Will was from Philadelphia, and he had that, quote unquote hood validation, right? So, like I said before, there's a different sort of outlook on non-black men who come from poverty, lower income environments versus black men. Whereas it's shameful for non-black men to come from that environment. But for black men, people want to see it. It validates you. You're legit, right? You can't be a black man and be born into the middle or upper class because people won't give you the black male card. People are going to write you off, right? So it is what it is. Y'all let me know what you think. Take it easy. God bless.